So hello viewers and subscribers. We are today going to discuss two aspects: physical and chemical property of alcohols. So first, just talking about the outline of the lecture. The physical properties will be divided into boiling point and water solubility, whereas in the chemical properties you will have the reactions that takes place in alcohol. Whenever we say the reactions that take place in alcohol, it is ROH, and this ROH can be dissociated in two different ways, of which the one way to break it is R plus and OH minus, and the other way to break it is RO minus and H plus. So our main aim would be to study two types of reactions: a type of reactions that involve the R plus OH minus cleavage, and the other type of reactions that involve the RO minus and H plus type of cleavage. So this is how it works. So let us begin with the physical properties, that is boiling point and water solubility. And once we are done with boiling point and water solubility, we will go for the chemical reactions. See, whenever we talk of physical properties like water solubility, let us check it in a very technical way or very scientific way, that we have an alcohol. If we look towards this chemical formula of alcohol, here itself we will get an idea that the OH bond will become partially polar because O is having more electronegativity than H, and henceforth the resultant of it would be that the shared pair of electrons will tend to remain more towards oxygen, and this makes the bond partially polar. When such kind of a molecule comes in contact with a water molecule already exists as a polar molecule, and it will result into a strong hydrogen bond between alcohol and water molecule. And this strong hydrogen bond existing between alcohol and water molecule will make it possible soluble in water. So we can say that alcohol is quite easily soluble in water. In all these structures that I am trying to populate over here, I am very much confident from the representation itself that a kind of hydrogen bond is forming, and this intermolecular hydrogen bonding is responsible. This intermolecular hydrogen bonding is responsible for water solubility of alcohol, water solubility of alcohol. This is how it works. But do we have any order of solubility? That is, if I have methanol, ethanol, propanol, and so on. If I take equal quantity of all these and try to dissolve them in equal quantity of water, do they all have the same solubility in water? And my answer will be no. Once our answer comes no, we always need to justify the trend of solubility. So, in all these three cases, we are quite sure that this portion, which is highly polar, will always form a bond with water and become soluble in water. But at the same time, there is a contradict nature, non-polar and present in the same molecule. That is the alkyl group. And you know, as the number of carbon chain increases, solubility in water decreases. The reason is, a compound can only be more and more soluble in water when it has a polar-polar interaction. But when you have a polar-non-polar interaction and the non-polar keeps on increasing its non-polarity, then its solubility always decreases in a polar solvent. So as you go down from methanol to ethanol and ethanol to propanol, the non-polar alkyl group keeps on increasing, and the increment in the non-polar alkyl group reduces its property of solubility in water. So this is where from we can get an idea that alcohols, with the increase in their alkyl chain, the non-polar end, their solubility in water decreases. This is one aspect. A second aspect, more the number of OH group, more is the solubility. More the number of OH group, more is the solubility. So if you check over here, you will get that idea very quickly, that if I have CH3CH2OH, that is ethanol. If I have CH2OH, that is ethylene glycol. And if I have CH2OH, CHOH and CH2OH, that is glycerol, then going down this trend, the number of hydroxyl group increases. That is, the number of polar section increases, resulting into more solubility in water. So more the hydroxyl group, more is the water solubility. More the hydroxyl group, more is the solubility. This is how we can justify the concept of solubility of alcohol. Alcohol definitely is water soluble, but more the alkyl chain, lesser will be the solubility because the non-polar section increases, and on the other side, more the OH group, more is the solubility as the polar group increases. So this is the first point among the physical properties that we are discussing. Let us move for the second physical property, that is melting point and boiling point. Whenever we say melting point and boiling point, it always depends, or it always correlate with the current state of that molecule at room temperature. If at room temperature your molecule is solid, you will discuss its melting point, and if at room temperature your molecule is liquid, you will always discuss of boiling point. That should not be a bigger issue while learning the trends, because we are not learning the exact values of temperature, we are learning the trends. So let us begin with boiling point. Let us begin with boiling point. When discussing boiling point, or if at all required at some stage, melting point, if at all required at some stage, melting point, how should we go, or what should be the trend for us to work? See, as the number of alkyl group increases, boiling point increases. As the number of alkyl group increases, the boiling point increases. It means if I compare methanol, ethanol, propanol, butanol, the boiling point always goes higher and higher. Over here, there is a very good explanation for this. Generally, I have heard people explaining that as the surface area increases, the boiling point increases. But this is not correct 100%, because that explanation of surface area is more correlated with alcohols having same molecular formula. Over here the molecular formula is not same, it is different. And what you call to the alcohols having same molecular formula? Yes, very good. Isomeric alcohol. Isomeric alcohols. So see what happens over here. I would justify it in a different way. If I have one CH3OH and other CH3OH, mark the distance which is in between. For placing a molecule over here and over here, let these be the centers. Now when I shift from methanol to ethanol, I must write it like this. I will be expanding equally on both the sides. Now check the distance. Still wait. Don't be in that hurry. Propanol. See what is happening to the distance. See. Look into very carefully what is happening to the distance. Now you can justify it very easily. Now you can justify it very easily that with the increase in this length of the alcohol, the distance between the two molecules decreases. This is just a representation. Otherwise, the actual scene would be something like this. Something like this. But fundamentally, what happens is this distance decreases. And when this distance decreases, the attraction increases. And when the attraction is more between two molecules and you want to boil them up, you need to break that bonds. And for that, you require energy. And that energy is provided by the heat, either by melting it or by boiling it. So this is the fundamental thought when it comes to increase in boiling point with the increase in the chain of alkyl groups. So remember this very well. On the other side, there is a comparison of boiling point between the alcohols and the hydrocarbons. It's a very short but very important explanation that alcohol have higher boiling point than hydrocarbons. Why? Whenever you talk of alcohols, they have a hydrogen bond, that is because of the polar in nature. And always remember that hydrocarbons only have van der Waals bond, and van der Waals bonds, I'm just writing WB, van der Waals bonds are much weaker than hydrogen bond. So as the bond strength is more, you would require more energy to melt, to boil, and therefore the alcohols have higher boiling point compared to hydrocarbons. This is how the answer can be justified. Still, moving a step in detail, let us explain the phenomena of isomeric alcohols in boiling point. Let us take the example of pentanovanol, it is something like this. Okay, let us take example pentanetol, and two-methyl butanol. If you look very carefully into these three examples, I have the longest or the largest surface area in pentanovanol. Over here the surface area shrinks, and over here the surface area still shrinks. So beta, as the surface area shrinks, the distance between two such molecules will also become larger and larger. And when the distance between two molecules become larger and larger, attraction decreases and therefore boiling point decreases. But generally we speak, as the surface area decreases, boiling point decreases. That is not 100% correct, because if I take two such boxes and when I make a surface out of it, and if it something like this, it decreases. See what is happening. Still I am decreasing the surface. As I am decreasing the surface, you can see the distance increases. As the distance increases with the shrinking of the surfaces, two such molecules, the bond will become weaker and weaker, and therefore you will be able to break it easily. So this is where you have three types of aspects. With increasing alkyl group of the alcohols, their boiling point, melting point will increase. For the isomeric alcohols, more the surface area, more is the boiling point, lesser the surface area, less is the boiling point. When the surface area will become less, more will be the branching. And when more will be the branching, less will be boiling point, because surface area decreases. And the boiling points of alcohol are much higher than the boiling point of hydrocarbons. So these are the three aspects that come when you are discussing about the boiling point. Now let us take a very important and a very short third physical property, which is very important. That is the acidity of alcohols. Can we somehow prove that alcohols may have the acidic nature? Definitely, we say in chemistry they are neutral. Definitely, they are. But their nature can sometimes be acidic. See how. When I have ROH and when I just react them with sodium metal, they always results into RONA plus 1 half H2. If we look like this, you will say this is not the proof for acidity, this is the proof for liberation of dihydrogen gas, and I must agree with what you say. But if you go into the mechanism of this reaction, that how did this reaction occur, then you will come to know that when I have this ROH, it will always break as RO minus and H plus. So see, when a compound or when a substance delivers out H plus, we might coin it as acidic nature. So this was the reason. Now what happens is Na gets converted into Na plus plus electron. Now this RO minus and Na plus will combine and form RONA, whereas these two will combine and form 1 half H2. So this is how it works. This is how it works. So this is a small proof which can be sometimes correlated that alcohol may possess the acidic nature. So these were the 3 points regarding the physical property of alcohol that involved water solubility of alcohols, boiling point and melting point of alcohols, and acidity of alcohols. Now, in the continuation of this particular video, let us discuss regarding the chemical properties of alcohols. Whenever we say chemical property of alcohol, we will go with 2 different mechanistic chemistry. One will be ROH and the second one as of now will look ROH, but in this one it will break like this, so it's called a OH cleavage. So when you have this OH cleavage, it is RO minus and H plus. This is how it breaks, RO minus and H plus. But over here it will be the RO cleavage, and therefore I will end up with R plus and OH minus. One more important thing, friends, over here is sometimes people will write CO cleavage. Do not get panicked, because R is the representation for alkyl groups and alkyl groups have carbon. So owing to these 2 statements, that breaking up of the OH bond, that is the OH cleavage, and breaking up of the RO bond, that is RO cleavage, let us start with breaking up of the OH bond. That is the first category. And let us look how many reactions or chemical reactions we can come up with. So we are first going to discuss chemical reactions in the class of chemical properties of alcohols, where the OH bond breaks and you get RO minus and H plus, that is alkoxide ion and H plus ion. So let us start with the very fundamental, very basic first reaction in this category, where we will try to break the OH bond and we will come up with the answers. So the first reaction in the category where I have the ROH, that is an alcohol reacting with RCOOH, that is an acid. When such a reaction takes place, pardon me for a second, when such a reaction takes place, be very clear what you were just now telling, that you will be breaking the OH bond. So when you are just trying to break the OH bond, it is always resulting into alkoxide ion and H plus ion. And similarly, on the other way, when I am breaking the acid, I will always break it as RCO plus and OH minus. This is how the things will work. Now if you look into the reaction carefully, the H from the alcohol and the OH from the acid will collectively form a water molecule which is removed out from a reaction, and these two counterparts will combine to give me a popular general ester. So this is how you can say that when an alcohol combines with an acid, you will always end with an ester. So this is an ester formation. So it's a very simple reaction, combining alcohol with acid and leading to ester. So this is the first basic chemical reaction where this OH bond of alcohol is breaking. Let us take another example in the same series where I am not changing the alcohol, but I am changing the acid to acid chloride. See what happens. A similar trend of the mechanism initially, where you have this kind of breaking, and on the other side you can break it like this also. So what happens is, I have this H and I have this Cl, so it will be HCl and RO minus and this COR now. So friends, it is again an ester. Sometimes what people do, they will write here R dash. So there will be a R prime over here, differentiating that R ain't equal to R dash. This is what they justify. So again, when you have an alcohol and that alcohol combines with acid chloride, you always end up with an ester. Remember, the first reaction always proceeds in presence of an acid. The second reaction always proceeds in presence of a base. Now over here you will ask me a question, that why reaction 1 you proceeded via acid and why reaction 2 you proceeded via base. When you have such type of chemistry, you have to always look towards the byproduct that is coming out. Look to the byproduct. In the first set of reactant, the byproduct is water, and fundamentally water is neutral. So the role of this acid as a catalyst was just to start up the reaction and nothing else. But in the second reaction, apart from the base acting as a catalyst, the byproduct that comes out is acid, and we know that when esters are to be reprecipitated out at the end of the reaction, if the solution or the end solution is acidic in nature because of the HCl, the ester won't come out completely, and hence we require to neutralize this byproduct. And there, if you have added a base initially, this byproduct will get neutralized and you will be able to get the maximum quantity of ester out. So this is how the mechanism and the catalyst play the roles of neutralizers also when required. So these were the two initial reactions that can be explained when you are intended to break the OH bond in an alcohol and to react them with acid and acid chloride respectively. Let us take few other reactions that directly help us to recognize that we are breaking the OH bond of the alcohol. So we have the third reaction, again the same alcohol, and this time we have anhydride with us. Very important and a very simple procedure. See, RO minus H plus minus and plus. This H from here, this acetate ion that comes out from the alcohol, these will get combined and give you a byproduct acid, and now you are left with this alkoxide ion and this cation, and when they will combine you will again end up with this ester. Now at this particular junction you will ask me a question, sir अब यहाँ पे तो base लिखा नहीं है आपने, you have not written a base over here although acid is coming out. You are right, I have to write base both as a catalyst and if required it might act as a neutralization agent. So this is where chemistry comes. Coming to the fourth question, or rather to say a fourth subtopic, let us react an alcohol with a Grignard reagent. And now you are very much aware of Grignard because we have done Grignard in the very previous series of this video. We are quite confident of this breaking in a particular fashion. So this alkoxide ion combines with MgX and I will always end up with a byproduct like this. Remember, very rarest of the rare reaction where you have the alkane formation as your product. Very rarest of the rare reactions where you have alkanes as your product. This is one of those reactions. So friends, these four reactions jointly represents few chemical properties of alcohol where the OH cleavage occurs in alcohol. Now let us shift. Let us shift to the RO cleavage. So that will be another set of questions where you will have the RO cleavage, and that will also be having its own importance when it comes to the chemical properties of alcohols. What I am going to do is, in the description of this video, I am going to put the earlier links of all the topics that are related to this alcohol category so that you can have a QR, that's a quick revision, so that in the next upcoming video I'll be blooming up with phenol. So let us start. Chemical property of alcohol and R plus OH minus, that is the breaking of RO bond. Over here I'll flat take four reactions at a shot to make you understand the chemistry. ROH reacts with HCl in presence of anhydrous ZnCl2. Very simple. Cl minus OH minus. We are going to break like this. So R plus OH minus, H plus Cl minus. So this portion is removed, that is H2O, and you will end up with RCl. First reaction. Now, before I move away, if you remember few topics from the haloalkane and haloarenes, over here you can see that OH minus is coming out and at the same time Cl minus is gone in, and both are bearing a negative charge, and so these two can be coined as nucleophile, and these nucleophiles are getting exchanged, getting substituted. So these is nothing but these are SN reactions, nucleophilic substitution reactions. As of now, we'll not go in unimolecular or bimolecular SN1, SN2 reactions, but they are nucleophilic substitution reactions. So this is important. Now I'll take 3 reactions at a stretch. ROH, be very alert. PCl3, PCl5, SOCl2. Phosphorus trichloride, phosphorus pentachloride, and thionyl chloride. When you have phosphorus pentachloride, 1 Cl and 1 R, that is RCl, PO and 3 Cl, that is POCl3, 1 H and 1 Cl, that is HCl. So this is how you get haloalkanes. This is how you get haloalkanes. PCl3, whenever you are taking, always remember that you will take 3 moles of alcohol. So very simple reaction, 3 moles of 3 moles of RCl plus H3PO3, because 3 OH and 1 P. And at the same time, when you have SOCl2, again only 1 mole of ROH, so RCl, HCl, SO2. So this is where you come up with 3 chlorinated products. But these all, whenever they undergo, they always have the breaking as R plus and OH minus. So this is where we can justify the RO cleavage using these set of chemical reactions. Moving still a step further, I'll take a very important set of reaction over here where alcohol combines with ammonia. Alcohol combines with ammonia, and when alcohol combines with ammonia, it is in presence of aluminum oxide at 633 Kelvin, and a very simple reaction. Always remember, ammonia can break into NH2 minus and H plus, R plus and OH minus. So byproduct water and the main product amine. So this is how you can have formation of primary amine from alcohol. So friends, these are some of the chemical reactions that together form chemical properties of alcohol in 2 different modes. The current mode on the board represents the RO cleavage, and the earlier section in the current video had the OH cleavage. So friends, viewers, subscribers, thank you. We'll come up with the very next video in this series describing the phenols, their IUPAC, their physical properties, and we'll move ahead. Be in touch. If you have any queries, you can contact me anytime. Subscribe the channel.